Beautiful.
Hello, greetings, sacred beings. Welcome to another episode with Sacred Her Story podcast. Today we're interviewing Natasha Jones. She is a practicing ascension facilitator, light language channel, and shamanic arts practitioner. She is also a wife, mother, and business executive who is finding the balance navigating day to day 3D responsibilities while on the wild ride of awakening. You can find her light language activations and ascension supporting offerings at cosmicheartpriestess.com. Now, I am so excited that you're here and so thankful because, Sister, you are amazing. So, I would like to introduce Natasha. Natasha, how's everything going? How are you feeling
I'm
today?
so good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I love this. Thank you.
Yes. So, let's just get started. Tell me, because this is about you. This is your story that I want to share. And, you do it all. You're a mom, you're a wife, you're a business executive, and yet here you are, this light language activation. How did you get here? What is the story behind this?
Yeah, that's a big question. It's been a journey. I know we all have our own personal journeys and our own stories to tell. And I don't think mine is super unique. I think we're always in this process of evolution and unfolding. And for me, my journey has really been around, breaking free from the boxes that I put myself in, or society has put me in, or just the expectations of being a mother, a wife, a business person. And then I have this pretty profound awakening experience. And then I'm gifted this amazing ability to speak light language, which is just these beautiful sounds that I can channel through that help people to remember their own souls connection and their own souls vibration through this remembering of these sounds. And I think part of my story really has to be about freeing myself from feelings of, um, you know, being too much or not enough or all of those things so that I could integrate and embody both sides of myself, which is, to your earlier introduction, this very 3D part of who I am, and as well as this amazing galactic and, activator that I feel so called to really embody as well. And how do you hold both because they're so dramatically different, but also the same at the same time?
Yeah, that's a big thing. What do you think is like was a struggle behind that with having, because you're talking about, like, here you are, this light language is very like magical being, and then here's 3D um working mom, wife, you know what is the struggle in holding both spaces, I should say, because it seems like, okay, there's something else in there, but what is it? I'm trying to pull that out because I go,
Mhm.
where's the struggle? Because you're already doing it. So what is it that what is the challenge behind that with
Yeah, well, it took me a couple of years to actually um, not be afraid, I think, of being seen. And the fear was really around, I think, a deep-seated fear of persecution or judgment or being ostracized for being different. And oftentimes this is referred to as the witch wound, right? I think almost all of us have it if you've walked this healing path. It's like I have, and as it being a business person too, and also having this gift, I felt so called to share the gift. Like I really did. I know in my heart of hearts that this is not just for me, it's for me to share with others so that they can recognize the same frequencies or similar frequencies within themselves, and to help people um, work through those initial feelings around awakening and remembering. But it was quite a thing um, to do both simultaneously. I even really tried to hide myself a bit, which you can't really do on the internet. But I remember when I started, I was like, how can I hide this from my my boss, my husband, and my employees? But yet I feel so called to share this. And so I was trying to DBA myself, doing business as Cosmic Heart, and I wasn't always using my name. And I had a lot of, every time I would put something out there, I had a lot of feelings that came through around, oh my goodness, what if I'm found out? And I had to, I'm still untangling with that a bit, but it has definitely improved. And I'm feeling more bold and more confident in that part of my mission. And learning how to navigate the everyday stuff that we have to do, while also feeling very much in my own spiritual journey and awakening, which I think is very common for folks when they start on their awakening path, when your whole world suddenly feels upside down and nothing really makes sense and you can't really believe how you got here. Once the veil has been lifted, once you start to see all the programming and the conditioning that we sort of just accepted for so long, once that begins to lift and you start to see the truth for what it really is, it is hard to then go back into paying the bills and making sure your kids are going to school and that their homework is getting done and the dinner is getting done. And your mind is just blown at the expansiveness of all that is. And then how do you do both? And I can't say I'm still on that journey, to be honest, but I'm in it enough to know now how to walk that line a little more gracefully and how to see it as a superpower as opposed to being something that I need to hide or separate. The whole story is about dissolving the illusion of separation and the labels that we put on ourselves, right? And how can we integrate and become whole and embody all of this magic that we possess, that we are. And yeah.
Oh, I love that. There's a lot there. I want to go back because you were saying you try to hide from your husband, from your boss. And what were you hiding from? What was the feeling? What was it that um I guess if it's okay to say, were you afraid or were you scared? What was it that was behind that feeling of hiding yourself?
I will say that it was a deep-seated fear of being um, cast out, rejected. I really do feel like there's a lot of past life trauma that we all hold in our field. Many of us we all play different roles in different lifetimes. And the witch wound runs deep because we were killed, we were persecuted. We watched people we love be killed and persecuted for showing their gifts or, just trying to integrate their gifts with the mainstream or with, I don't know, authority figures, I suppose. And so for me, it really was like, oh my gosh, I'm officially coming out of the broom closet. And I felt really compelled to do this. I mean, if there was something that was more subtle where my gifts came online and it was something that I could just sort of, keep for myself, maybe it wouldn't have been such a process. But I think my work was to uh, evolve through those feelings and get more comfortable with it. Of course, I DBA, I created an Instagram page under the Cosmic Heart Priestess, um, and of course, the next day, all of my employees found me, through the algorithm. So I was like, well, there goes that. And then it just sat quiet for weeks. And because I'm like, okay, well, now what do I do? What do I talk about? Because I wanted to share the light language. And then eventually I just did it. My employees have never really said anything about the light language. I still work, of course, and no one's really said anything. My boss knows, both of my bosses know that I do shamanic work. One boss even, purchased some sessions for someone that he loves, and it was a fantastic session. So I just don't think they fully comprehend the depths of what it is, and it's okay. I don't need to go into the weeds with them. And my husband too, you know, he isn't necessarily a spiritual person. He isn't. And so this has been a journey for our relationship as well. And it's been, you know, several years in now, and he is, you know, warming up to all of these things. And yeah. And I'm still here. I haven't been hung. I haven't been burned. I'm still here, and my nervous system is good. My nervous system is good about it.
Thank God, right? Thank you, source.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because you said the past several years. So when was it initially when you started, like what made you move into this realm of
Mm.
doing light language and shamanic, being a shamanic practitioner? How did you
Yeah.
get there? What was the journey there?
Yeah, I thank you for that question. And it's not, I wish it was linear, but I think it's nothing is linear. And I certainly have had many bursts of awakening over my, you know, almost 50 years here on the planet. You know, um, it's all culminated to this moment. You know, 20 some years ago, I was a yoga teacher. I did dip into the spirituality back then, you know, working with chakras and teaching group classes and energy, but it was really about the body still and helping people get from the mind to the body. You know, I had dabbled in exploring, you know, paganism for a while. I was a bit of a, you know, ufologist for, you know, when I was younger. I like to play a little bit more with the darker side of things in my college and high school years, as far as like my goth persona and kind of exploring some of the darker arts in that time. And you know, called to healing again in 2012 with my nutritional therapy certification, and did some work there. But this time around was not, you know, it was the big wave of 2020 that I think a lot of people experienced, a new pop, a new level of awakening. It was also a time when my children they're older. I had one in college and one in high school. And I think I had some spaciousness to ask myself some questions in that time where we were all kind of silent and at home a lot. And I started to just, you know, I've always believed in UFOs, and I've always believed in paranormal, and what does that mean about me? You know, and just kind of like peeling it back a little bit. And then I just felt so called to do the shamanic arts work, really working more purposefully and with uh, ritual and ceremony around mediumship and energy medicine and another certification in Reiki and another, you know, you just sort of collect these things over time.
Mm.
And yeah, so the light language came on probably 2021 for me. And it has slowly been building ever since. And now it's, you know, it's very easy for me to tap into it. And I get a lot of beautiful guidance around that. And I use it in my one-on-one sessions. I'm starting to use it in group sessions. And yeah, that's a long story short.
That's amazing because there's a lot of, like you said, it's not linear and you're going through all this, figuring it out, going through this goth stage, going through this, being a mom, a young mom, going into nutrition. Now you are this, what is it, executive,
Oh
um,
yeah.
business executive. You're like, oh yeah, that's whatever, because um but I'm curious because you keep saying awakening. And
Mhm.
what does awakening mean to you, or what does it look like for the audience? Because does it look the same for everyone? What would you say about that? Because you say,
Mm.
you're integrating this wholeness and this journey of awakening. And what did that mean for you? Because
Mm.
it may look different for everyone else. So.
Yeah, it definitely does look different for, I think everyone has their own experiences. Some people come out of the womb awakened. And I think the younger generation, as we look at like how our light bodies have expanded and how humanity is shifting and changing, you're going to see a lot more younger people being born now, probably even being born, 15 years 15 years ago in that area, the younger people, they're a little bit more awake and they're a little bit closer to vibrating at this different frequency. They're a little bit more expanded. There's a little bit more of a push to send souls here to the planet at this time to help the planet ascend, to help each other in a great time of change, which I do believe we're bringing in the new earth right now. We need to see a lot of inventions and shifts in how we work together, how we get things done. All of those things need to happen pretty rapidly, and I think it will. These younger people are going to be leading the way with our stewardship as the elders and the wisdom keepers, right? So I think that some people have a major spontaneous Kundalini awakening where maybe their energy just activates overnight, and you feel it's a tremendous energetic vibrational shift. And I think a lot of people like me sort of slowly have opened over time. But again, we're in a very unique place in humanity's history, and with the alignment of the energy available to us as we rise into this 5D Earth frequency. And so what that really means is, to me anyway, when you begin to awaken, your perspective of the little narrow box of society and culture and the labels that we put on ourselves bursts open, and you get to really begin to see not only the lies and again all of the sort of all the matrix analogies that are out there around, like how we're just sort of fed misinformation, and we just over time begin to believe our reality is this way, and but it's not true. It's not true. We are actually these amazing infinite creator beings, and we are expanded. And once you understand that how we've been living is so small and our potential is so big, it's hard to put that genie back in the bottle sometimes, right? It's hard to then integrate and take what you know of this expanded awareness of who you are and who we all are together. And then you have to still sort of take that expanded consciousness, and you still got to pay your taxes. You still got to put gas in the car. You still got to mow your lawn. You still got to, deal with people who are vibrating at this other, sort of petty, I wouldn't say petty as judgy, but, at this other level, right? And you still have to have those interactions and hold space and compassion for people for where they're at. It's tricky. It's tricky. I mean, that's why a lot of ascension symptoms, once you get past the physical stuff that might happen if you have a Kundalini awakening or your gifts come online really suddenly, they kind of go into hermit mode. You're devouring all of this information. You're trying to figure out what is your truth, what is not your truth. How does the hunger for information can be so immense. I mean, I think that was definitely my experience. I think I'm still probably still just coming back out into society now, because for me, I was like this amazing anthropological experiment in digging into all these different belief systems, all of these cultural definitions of things, all of these ancient civilizations, all of our galactic and cosmic connections, all of these energetic frequencies. Like, I was devouring information for 3 years solid, and then really using my own truth filter to see what's true for me, what's not true for me. And then, like I said, I do have a corporate job, so I would then have to get up at work every day and do all of that stuff, meet with clients, deal with employee stuff. And it was tough. It was tough because I couldn't understand how I could fit this big, expansive ball of energy that I see myself, how I could just be at my desk chair all day for 8 or 9 hours a day and then go make dinner. And when you start to understand all in which you are, it is like, it's so wonderful and empowering, but then also kind of depressing, because you're like, wait a minute, where's that? Why aren't we all like this? What would happen if we all could understand our truest potential and work together to create, this new earth? And there's plenty of us who are doing that right now, but that was a long answer. Did I answer your
No,
question?
it looked beautiful. So I mean, because this is your story. This is
Mhm.
awakening process.
Mhm.
And would it be safe to say that, to put it simply, with being awakened is pretty much realizing that what is happening now is just all in all an illusion that's comes crumbling down into this realization that you are so much more, and there's so much more than what you thought you knew,
Yeah.
that just gets popped. And
Yeah.
it's like, whew,
Yeah.
like, oh, wait a minute. That was a lie. I'm waking up beyond what I thought I knew and saying, wait, this is not mine. I don't need to do this. And
Mhm.
realizing there's so much more that you can do and be.
Yeah, so many distortions, so many lies, so many corruptions in our programming and how we define ourselves, how our culture and society have been shaped. Yes, and so you wake up to those lies, and you're like, "What? How did I get myself in this hamster wheel? How is my life now?" And I have a blessed life. Like this is this puts a lot. Yeah, we could have a whole nother segment on how awakening impacts marriages. That could be a whole nother call that we have together. But like it's true, like it's hard to all of a sudden, like once you have that realization, and I have this big beautiful life that I created for myself. I have my husband of 20 some years. I've got my two beautiful children. I've got, this home that we've created together. I mean, it's pretty darn American. You check the boxes of the picture perfect situation. I got a great job. I've done awesome things, all da, 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 da. And then you're like, oh my God, is that all that it was, is that all there is? Is this how, is this what, is this it? And then you realize that you really just want to go live in the forest, in the woods with a garden and, and, just really live more in harmony with the earth and with your own rhythms and in community with other beautiful awakened people. And um,
With love source,
yeah,
right?
yeah. But instead, I'm in the suburbs, and so I want more of us to come out of the closet. I want more of us to make this the norm because I don't really want us to hide. I want to hide when I'm in my hermit mode, but the work isn't in the hiding. The work is in the showing up and transmuting and changing anything that you impact. So in my corporate job, just I'll give you a quick example. One of the things that opened for me in my light language is my throat chakra. And every time I would be in corporate meetings, I would feel I would have imposter syndrome. My words wouldn't come out well. I would feel very contracted in my heart and in my throat. And of course, with the light language activation, my throat chakra opened up, my heart has expanded, my sense of self is more grounded. And I can take that energy now into tough conversations, and I can hold that frequency, and my words come out the way they need to in truth, in my truth. My nervous system can be, for the most part, 80% of the time, more stable, and I can set a better example for my team, especially in male-dominated culture corporations.
Mm.
We have this tendency in business to have to react and to answer, to be the loudest, to be the smartest, to ego, ego, ego. And I can lead now in my company. And if I don't have the answer, I don't have the answer right now. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Let me sit with this and get back to you. Or I just don't have to be reactive, and I can be confident bringing my whole divine feminine self into an office and transmute some stuff there. So I guess I want to clarify, as much as it would be amazing to go hide in the woods, and we all have to show up, and that's how the new earth will be born. We have to, whatever it is we touch, whatever it is we impact, whether it's the PTA, whether it's whether you work, no matter what you do, you can bring your awakened self into those situations and start to change those frequencies, because there is a big resistance for us to separate, and that is exactly the opposite. We need to dissolve the illusion and boxes we create for ourselves. And the more we separate ourselves from each other, I'm awakened, you're not awakened. It's just another label that we put on each other.
Yes.
So it's about being whole and integrated and embodied. And what you learn as you go through this process, as you well know, is to release the emotional charge of day-to-day situations. Allow yourself to rise above those frequencies, above that, and observe and not to react. That is a lot of work for people. You got to soothe your nervous system. You got to clear your own issues, whatever that work is that you need to clear for yourself, those limiting beliefs. You really have to transcend a lot of that, and it's constant work, but and it's practice for all of us. And then you have to let go of expectations. You have to let go of the way we think an outcome needs to be. And it's a combination of all of those things. And then just being really conscious and present and self-caring yourself every day. Is so much self-care in the awakening, because constant self-care.
Or it's what we need in everyday life, right? Is to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves and not just giving away, doing everything for everyone else, is also considering ourselves as well in that calculation, right?
Yes, and learning from, our shamanic work and any type of energy studies that you do, yeah, it's really important to master your energy, to master your frequency, and to know when it's time to ground, when it's time to clear, when it's time to be expanded, when it's time to contract. Like it's a very subtle language energy, but once you tap into it, it's pretty cool, the magic that you can do, because we're all transmuting stuff all the time from each other, from the collective, and having those tools is really important. That's something I love to do. I love to teach people the basic tools in energy management, energy hygiene, because it's kind of a foundational building block of being successful in the integration of your awakening.
Well, that's amazing. And you created the Cosmic Heart Priestess. So
Mhm.
tell us more about that, because you said you want to help people. What is it that you offer? How do you help others?
Mhm.
Share with us your magic, sister.
Yeah, the Cosmic Heart Priestess was a little something channeled my way when it was kind of when I was like, not sure how to position myself, what do I call myself? What does that mean? And I don't really know. For me, what that means is just the cosmic heart of the universe, of the cosmos. It's just about that ability for us all to expand and transcend our heart, even beyond uh, it's the higher heart frequency, right? It's universal love frequency. And it really came to me by bringing in some Mother Mary channeling that came through. Mother Mary came to me in a meditation after this beautiful cacao ceremony that I was in. And I didn't really know what the cosmic heart was, to be totally honest, when that came through. But it just felt really resonant, and it was almost like it was gifted to me as this, like, hey, here's this, and I'm like, okay, and it just fit really beautifully. And a lot of my work is helping women to integrate their divine feminine aspects. And I'm also very much a student priestess of Isis, Mary, and Mary Magdalene. I've been initiated into a priestess hood under their tutelage. And it's an honor, honestly, to be able to um, embody some of those frequencies and to pass those along to people I work with.
That's so beautiful. So
Mm.
beautiful. The Cosmic Heart Priestess. Question, and this may be the last question in closing. I mean, you shared so much, of the awakening and your journey, and in this process of still finding that balance between working as an executive and using your gift, your spiritual gifts, with the Cosmic Heart Priestess. What are Well, you shared that, like what drives you to inspire or inspires you most in your daily life, and you shared that you want to help. But um, how do you believe your work or actions have been and made an impact on others? So you said you do this priestess work. How has
Mm-hmm.
it helped others?
I hope that what, if anything, it just normalizes this idea of,
Mm,
um, especially with the light language. I would love for there to be a day, and I don't think it's too far off, where we're all just doing our light language. We're all just talking to each other in light language, or we're using telepathy, or we're creating these spaces where that sacred energy can just flow freely. I really hope to create more sacred containers for people to get a taste or a flavor of being in that super high vibrational space, where the ability to access your gifts, your guides, your it's just right there. I've been in ceremonies where it's just right there, where there's no separation. Like I say, it's you can just connect so beautifully. And I love creating sacred spaces, whether it's one-on-one or in groups. And I hope to be doing more group work soon. And I'm doing a few things here in Portland coming up here this fall, August and September. And I love my one-on-ones. My one-on-ones I can do over Zoom. And in those readings, really, we just connect our fields, and we do this beautiful visualization and meditation. Like I'm just going to bring through what comes through for you. And it's co-creative, so sometimes there's an opportunity um, for the client, I guess, to speak into what is coming through for them. So helping people to access their gifts. Some people don't even know that their gifts are activated. They just take for granted that they can see or hear or intuit really well. And so helping people to even like tap in a little bit to their own potential, even in these sessions, because the frequency can be really high. And I think just normalizing that we are so, so, so close to our divine selves. And that's what I want. I just want us to recognize how beautiful and expansive we are and connected. And I want to create more spaces and opportunities for people to experience that
Oh, that's
affordably
so
and every
beautiful.
day, all the time. I love it. I love it so much.
And that's why you're the Cosmic Heart Priestess. I just want to send love. So if there's anyone, listening, and
Mhm.
that there's one thing that you can give an advice to from the lessons or experience that you've gone through, what would that be?
Mm. That would be to always trust your own truth filter and to develop a relationship with your higher self, your higher mind and your heart. So if you can get your heart and your higher mind to kind of work in a rhythm together, you have all the answers within you, right? You don't have to go anywhere for guidance. It's all within. And I think in the beginning of the awakening, sometimes you're looking for answers in other people, but really you just need the confidence to find the answers within yourself.
Thank you for that. That just sounds amazing, finding it within yourself.
Mhm.
Well, we're going to close at that. It's such a beautiful advice. Thank you, thank you, thank you, beautiful sister Natasha, for allowing us to celebrate your unique
Mm.
journey of your truth, your love, and your sacredness.
Mm.
And thank you, everyone, for joining us and joining Natasha and I for this episode, for she is sacred, her sacred, highly exalted rebel. It is saying yes to ourselves and trusting in our own inner wisdom.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.